Did you? I sure did, yeah. I went to Fort Wayne, my hometown. Spent a couple days with the family. Had a good time. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, I didn't even see you when I walked in. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'll call to order the June 1st, 2022 Fishers Plan Unit Development Committee meeting. We do have a quorum. I will call the first matter number PUD-22-4, Pages Music. Eric Gleisner, on behalf of Pages Music, is requesting consideration of the site plan and architectural elevations for the development of a warehouse, distribution, and office facility within the Delaware Park PUD. Subject site is located south of Sunlight Drive and west of Lantern Road within the Delaware Park Commercial Subdivision with a common address of 8601 Sunlight Drive. And we have Ross here on behalf of staff.
Thank you, Chair. Before you tonight, as you said, is PUD 22-4, Pages Music. As you said, the petitioner is Eric Gleisner with Civil Site Group. This evening, they're seeking the approval of architectural elevations and site design for the Pages Music Warehouse, distribution, and office. This project is located in the Delaware Park Business Park. Existing land is vacant. The property is located south of 106th Street within the Delaware Park PUD, and it is located here at Sunlight Drive. The front of the building is anticipated to be used as an office, while the taller and larger rear of the structure will be used for warehouse and distribution purposes. Staff here would like to highlight the pedestrian connection along Sunlight Drive, as well as the bicycle parking, provided outdoor employee seating areas, and the location of the loading bays and the trash enclosure in the rear of the development. Here's the front elevation of the development. Wall and parapet elevations assist in the modulation of the building. The structure involves mainly concrete cast panels of dark brown and gray, with a decorative strip along the roof line of the structure, and a darker panel matching the entrance found at the base and the perimeter of the structure. This is the elevation from the northwest corner. Metal awnings have been included along all windows to add architectural interest. This is the front elevation. The petitioner worked with staff to provide a simple three-tone design. Previous elevations of this development were included in your staff report for context. This is the elevation from the northeast corner of the development. You can see the taller warehouse portion in the back does have matching colors to the rest of the building. The windows will be non-reflective and tinted to match the dark tones of the facade of the structure. And the east and southern side of the structure will house delivery bays for trucks. This area will be properly screened where required with a retaining wall that is not included in the submitted elevations. Here is a landscape plan meeting all required screening, parking island landscaping, and parking lot requirements. The construction plans have been reviewed through our technical advisory committee and are awaiting PD committee tonight. With that, staff does recommend approval of PUD 22-4. The developer and owner of Pages Music is also here to further communicate what they're looking at doing. I'll keep up this elevation for that.
Thanks, Ross. We'll hear from the petitioner.
Good evening, thank you. Eric Gleisner with Civil Site Group. I am the civil engineer for the project. Ross did an excellent job presenting everything. I don't have a whole lot to add, but as he said, with me is Carl Fedig with US Architects, who can answer any of your questions regarding the building. I can answer any of your questions regarding the site. Steve Mattingly with Mattingly Construction is the contractor. I would like to have Mark Goff, who is the owner of Pages Music. They are relocating from their Indianapolis location. I'd like to have him give you a quick rundown of his business. It's a really neat story, so if that's okay, I'd like to have him come up.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Pages Music is one of the oldest companies in our state, I believe. We were founded in 1871 in Terre Haute, Indiana. and I am the 5th generation owner of that business. We are a business that focuses on helping students make music. So we provide band and orchestra instruments, rentals, repairs, and accessories to students all around the state of Indiana. We have roughly 60 employees right now. We've been on a bit of a growth path over the last few years, and I'm happy to say I'm a proud resident of Fishers, Indiana, and looking forward to relocating our business to Fishers. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, any comments or questions from either the petitioner or the staff?
No, I was just gonna say that I really like the improvements to the facade from the previous version, and I don't have any comments.
Yeah, I guess just one question, I guess, from an architectural perspective. Where the building steps up, what is the vertical face where it steps from the office portion to the warehouse portion?
This is Carl Fettig with U.S. Architects. The change in height has a horizontal insulated metal panel on it with the color to match and complement the color of the building. And the view on the screen is actually from the center of the road where it intersects with our entrance. And the intent there was to kind of show that most of that wall will not be visible from the street, at least.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you wasn't intending to run the roof up or something.
Right.
Right.
The height of the front office area varies between the lowest part is 22 feet. And the higher part at the entrance goes up to 26 feet 8.
No other comments?
Thank you. I don't have any comments myself. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Kay, roll call, please.
Ms. Baumgartner,
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes, the motion carries. Thank you. Our next item on our agenda is PUD-22-5, Children of America Daycare. Stephen Fields, on behalf of Rural America, is requesting consideration of the site plan and architectural elevations for the development of a daycare facility within the Lantern Point PUD. Subject site is located east of Lantern Road and west of I-69 within the Lantern Point Prairie View Commercial Subdivision with a common address of 10750 Clay Prairie Parkway. And once again, we have Ross to present on behalf of the staff.
Thank you, Ross Hillary staff. PUD 22-5, Children of America is before you tonight. As you said, the petitioner is Stephen Fields. The scope of the project, the approval of architectural elevations and the site design for the daycare facility. This project is located within the Lantern Point PUD, and the existing land use currently is vacant within that commercial office park. The location of the development is located along Lantern Road, east of Interstate 69. And the project location is highlighted here and more detailed within that red highlighted area along Lantern Road. Here is a site plan for the daycare facility, and staff would like to highlight a couple items. Some areas that staff would like to highlight include the green space, which is previously existing parking, as this is going into an office development that had the majority of the parking already installed prior to these pads being constructed. The location of the trash enclosure on the side of the facade furthest away from Lantern Road, and as well as the outside playground, which we'll talk about a little bit later as well. Staff would also like to highlight that around 3 sides of the building, it will include bollards that surrounds the elevation, as well as a chain link fence that surrounds the playground. Here is the current elevation provided. This is actually an updated elevation from the petitioner's packet. This includes highlights from staff. The elevation is a mixture of stone masonry along the bottom, as well as a dark or red-brown brick along the facade, as well as an ephes. The front elevation includes column projections, as well as the front projection of the entrance area. The rear elevation is shown here. Every door or window has awnings. You also see the parapet screens the majority of any HVAC units along the roof. The eastern elevation is shown on the left. This is what will be adjacent to Lantern Road. And the western elevation is shown on the right. This is what will be adjacent to Interstate 69. This includes brick masonry as well as shingles along the front elevation, as well as the canopies over the windows and doors. Staff here would like to show some of the general development around the area. Here is a building that is located north of the development. You can see here some of the 1990 style architecture that was included on this building, but the building is majority masonry product. Also see here, these are one-story offices that are located within the development that would be surrounded by this product. Staff does recommend approval tonight, but would like to showcase some images just for context for the committee. Here's an example of Children of America development with a masonry material that staff would recommend. The petitioner does have some masonry materials that they'll show you tonight. Here you can see these two facades side by side. Second, staff would also recommend that the brick wrap the east and west side of the building, the elevations that abut Lantern Road and I-69. You'll see here they currently are part of an ephes, and staff would recommend that they would be brick. And lastly, this development does have a chain link fence. This was something that staff looked at today. A little abnormal for an office park, so staff would recommend that a solid fence to blend into the development be recommended tonight. But staff would like some feedback from the committee on their thoughts on a fence like this within an office park. So with that, staff does recommend approval of PUD 22-6 with the following recommendations from staff: that the brick wrap extend across the two side elevations, and that the committee discuss some sort of solid fence within that playground area. I will bring up the elevation again, and like I said, the developer and architect, they do have some materials I'd like to share with you tonight.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Surak. I'm with Real America Development on behalf of the Children of America Development here. I guess just to give a brief history on how this came to be. We're the owners, and we occupied the building that burned down several years ago. And since then, we did have this property along with other portions of the PUD on the market. Had long sat vacant. We were approached by Children of America, and we thought that this, we kind of directed them to this location as it was, typically just sat vacant parking spaces, and we thought in terms of the greater property, this would be, the best spot for a daycare. So we see this as a transition from the 90s brick style that you see to the north to the stone veneer looking office park to the south. And so originally we are using an architect that designs all of Children of America's buildings throughout the country. And so this is their design they came up with. We liked it, presented it to staff, and then at their recommendation, they wanted to see some stone veneer around the base of the building versus the brick, which we agreed to do, and we made that change, as you can see there. And again, we do think that that is a nice transition. We have not talked to Children of America about wrapping the building in brick yet. However, it's something that we can listen to, and we have some samples here if you would like to see the stone in the brick. base of the building, you see the gray or the stone masonry. And then these are two options then for the, where it says dark red, brown brick. Top there. Right.
Yeah, so as of right now, according to their drawings, the mushroom color, which is sort of the middle one, that's what they have right now, but from talking with everybody, the darker red, we can easily switch to that, which I think that fits in more, but we can do whatever the committee recommends.
Thank you.
No.
No, we're fine.
Take a moment.
Thank you. Comments, board members? I'm curious about the fencing. Sean?
I guess I would agree on wrapping the veneer around the side, whether it's brick or stone or a combination of both. Just because I think that kind of finishes off the end of the building, but it's a pretty visible area there, both from 69 and from Lantern, so I would agree with that. That building is in a little bit of a unique spot because I kind of want it to match one of the buildings or the other. I don't necessarily want it to match the two-story building because I think it's too institutional looking. So I guess I would have hoped it would have blended a little more with the one-story, more prairie style, whether it have a hip roof on it or. I guess I'm not necessarily a fan of the second-story windows, knowing that they're not real. You can tell that they're not real because they're only 3 feet from the top of the roof. So I guess from that standpoint, I would almost rather the building have a little bit lower profile and blend in a little bit more with the office building versus kind of be more of a, for sake of a better term, prototype design. Since there is so much of a consistency and pattern and materials with the existing offices that are there.
So I'll mention, Sean, I believe it needed to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the PUD did require second-story windows or that hip roof, and this was the direction that they went with. Yes.
Yeah, I'm really struggling with this building. And we've talked about it internally a little bit, but right now it just kind of looks like for sure agree that the darker red is a much better fit than the mushroom. But it just looks like either a gym or something. And so I agree with, we had talked about, well, if you add some more of the colors and maybe like try and blend a bit more between both of these. I hadn't even thought about, so is the second story a faux? It is
yes.
faux? Okay.
Yeah, and they have, according to their architect and their operations team, they've done this product several places throughout the country, and they like giving off the appearance that it's kind of a larger school than it is from the front. And we did listen to several other recommendations from staff. We added awnings, which was not originally there. We listened to the stone veneer, and so we want to work with you all and make sure it's what you want to see there. But we feel like we have listened to the comments we have received.
Thank you. I don't have substantive comments like Megan and Sean. I do like the darker brick compared to the mushroom color, obviously.
I mean, looking at this, I would almost rather like a variance on the height of the building and remove that second story, or do some sort of like combination of the pitched roof to make it higher in a certain area. I'm not the architect by any means. And I know that our team has worked with you guys on this, but my take on this is that it should be continued until next month for us to be able to look through this a little bit closer. I don't know what everybody else feels.
I think I concur with that as well. Well, I would-
For more direction though, I agree that the fence, the 2 examples that were provided, I think those are a much better fit. For us, as you guys are the part of the property owners to the south of there, when you look at that as a gateway to the community, it is gonna be a taller building. And it's in the middle of an office area, and Office 69 for sure would want to see that different sort of fence. So I don't know what, Sean, you're the architect here. I don't know how to give them more significant feedback to make it better.
Yeah, I think, I guess my recommendation is you've got 4 buildings to the south and west that all have the same vernacular. They all have the same pitch roof, the same palette of materials, the same format and massing. This building feels to me that it should emulate that. Whether it's an exact copy of that, I don't think is necessary, but I think that it should feel like it belongs with those buildings. It doesn't have to be the quintuplet to them, but it should be their cousin.
Okay. I mean, the one thing I would say to that too is that obviously the area to the south of that park will be developed too.
Right.
And we think that will be definitely a mix of uses. I mean, there's a hotel that has had serious interest. There's been, gas station, convenience store, apartment developer too. So we thought that this would give a little bit of a blend that kind of
Yeah,
was a little bit of a differentiator.
I guess just from a parent perspective, this feels institutional to me compared to something that has a roof on it that looks homey. There's a little bit more of a residential character to it, feel to it. They obviously, they do this all across the country, so it obviously must be successful or they wouldn't be doing this design. I'm not in that world, so I can't speak to that end of it. But I feel that, I guess if this were to come to a vote tonight, I wouldn't vote to approve it. I just think that it should blend more with the other buildings.
Well, hopefully that's good feedback for you. I guess I'll entertain a motion to continue to next month's meeting.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to pull up like images of specific feedback. Because I know that so one question I had, have you guys been interacting with city staff on behalf of the architect, or have?
We have, yeah, and we've actually been speaking with Jonah and city staff since last September, and so.
My question was if the architect has been involved in those, or so.
I know that they've been on the emails. I'm not sure about conversations that they've had, but yeah, we've definitely. I think this has been in front of city staff for a while now, and before we signed the lease with them in the fall, we wanted to make sure that this is something that would be approved here and work. And really, a lot of the driver of that was because they want to deliver the building and start construction at a certain time in order to hit those seasons when they're I don't know if they call them semesters or what have you start, which is why we thought we were staying on track. And we had received some feedback from staff, and we really wanted to get this going here soon. We're supposed to close at the end of this month, and then we wanted to begin construction right thereafter in early July. And I'll tell you, we're willing to move forward with the conditions that staff recommended. We didn't know about the fence recommendation until just now, but we're willing, in the essence of time and to get this going, we're willing to move forward with that. And in the meantime, also work with you all on any other recommendations. The timing is really important.
Thank you.
Megan, from a staff's perspective, with the recommendations or changes in material and stuff like that, staff would feel comfortable, with them working with staff on those. But if we're looking at like potential modulations or changes in the building or the roof or something like that, I'm not sure staff would feel comfortable it not going before you guys, if those are some of the requests that you're making tonight. So,
And our owner has had a long relationship with the city of Fishers. We did South Point Village to the north of here. We're really passionate about what we do and want to make sure we're building a good product. And so, I apologize if this, if you had something else in mind at this point, but we thought we were addressing a lot of this in the front end with staff. But if there are other recommendations, we would, we really want to move forward.
Thank you. Well, at this time, I will entertain a motion either to rule on the petition today or, Megan, as you were suggesting, in light, notwithstanding, I know time is of the essence for you regarding your closing, but also the consideration that you were saying in terms of tabling this until next month's meeting.
Yeah, I'm just having a hard time with how it looks right now. And again, I know you guys are great. Rhonda's great. I've torn on that side because I know the impact that it has, but I feel very strongly that it could be much better than what it is. And I'm happy to do research and see what I can find that provides more feedback. But if there had to be a decision today, my vote would be no. So I'm instead going to make a recommendation that, an emotion to move this until next month.
staff has one more comment. Our next meeting is currently scheduled for July 13th because of the 4th of July. Staff would be willing to work with the petitioner on an expedited timeline and have a special meeting for this that would happen prior to that July 13th. If that's something the committee would entertain.
I'd be fine with that.
I would too.
Do I need to put that condition into my motion? Or you guys just tabled
Staff
until
would
the next
just,
month?
yeah, I would make the condition to the next meeting, and then staff would set that next meeting, which could be the special meeting just for this item.
Okay.
Well, we have a motion for Megan.
I'll second it.
We have a second. Roll call. Okay.
Ms. Baumgartner,
Yes.
Mr. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes. So the motion carries. We're going to continue this matter to our next board meeting with the hope that we can expedite that and have that sooner rather than later. Thank you. Next agenda item, we have nothing for the River Place PUD committee. Any staff communications?
Yes, as I just said, staff would like to communicate that the next meeting will be July 13th because of the federal holiday.
Thank you. Seeing no other agenda items, I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve. Motion, wait, God, I'm so thrown.